This is GE 6114, guys, Mathematics in the Modern World, Week 8, Data Management. Okay. Let's go with the next slide. So these are the three objectives of today's lesson. So first is uses a variety of statistical tools to process and manage numerical data. Apply the measures of central tendency, dispersion, relative position in given certain conditions. Third is advocate the use of statistical data in making important decisions. Okay. Now, let's define what is a data set. So a data set refers to a collection of numbers or values that relate to a particular subject. Okay. So it's just a collection of values, no? Or numbers that you can describe na pwede mong gawa ng conclusion or you can observe. So for example, the test scores of each student in a particular class is a data set. So kung nakikita niyo yung nasa baba, ito yung mga test scores ng mga students. Then another example would be the fish eaten per dolphin in an aquarium is a data set. So from this data, you can create or extract an information that you can study or you can relate or show to anyone para makita mo yung implications of that result. So for example, yung test scores, no? If this is the test scores of students in the second grading and you compare it with the data set of the first grading, titingnan mo if there is a difference. Is there a big difference? So tumaas ba or bumaba ba yung mga scores? So on and so forth. Okay? So that's a data set. So it's just a collection of numbers. And this data set is, ito yung gagamitin natin. Dito. I-analyze natin, kukunin natin yung central tendency niya. Now, data management. So data management refers to an administrative process by which the required data is acquired, validated, stored, protected, and processed, and by which its accessibility, reliability, and timeliness is ensured to satisfy the needs of the data users. So in this module, datasets and how to use the operations mean, median, and mode to manipulate the data is the one to be discussed. So kumbaga yung data management is how would you manage yung mga data sets. Is it validated? Paano ba siya in-acquire? Did you store it, protect it, and process? That is data management. Kumbaga. Okay? Now, with this data management, we can use mean, median, and mode to describe the data set. So kung ano ba ang ibig ipahiwatig ng data set na na-gather natin or given in a problem. Now, a measure of central tendency. Measure of central tendency is a single value that attempts to describe a set of data by identifying the central position within the set of data. So kumbaga, if you have a data set, for example, yung test scores kanina, if you rearrange that from smallest value to the greatest value, then you locate the central position or the central value. That is an example of measuring the central tendency. Okay? As such, measures of central tendency are sometimes called measures of central location because you're locating the middle value. They're also classed as summary statistics. The mean, often called the average, is most likely the measure of central tendency. Ito yung pinaka-common, kumbaga, na example ng central tendency na naririnig natin or familiar tayo. But there are others, no, such as median and mode, na i-discuss natin through the slide or through the lesson. Now, the mean, median, and mode are all valid measures of central tendency. But under different conditions, some measures of central tendency become more appropriate to use than the others. So if you want to get the average, you will use the mean. Yung median naman is to identify the middle number of the set or data set. Yung mode naman is kung gaano ba ka-frequent, no, na nag-occur or nag-appear yung number or result na yan. So may different results siya. Depende yan sa usage niya or kung ano yung gusto mong makita na result. Okay? So isa-isayin natin. So yung mean, it refers to the sum of the numbers divided by n. So for example, getting the general average. For example, yung sa elementary tayo or nung elementary tayo. So there is grades in science, math, English, so on and so forth. Then the grades that we have acquired from each of the subject, i-add natin yan lahat, then i-divide natin sa number of subjects and we got the average. So yun yung simple example of mean. Next is median. It refers to the middle number if n is odd for a rank order list of numbers or mean of the two middle numbers if n is even. So what does it mean? So yung median, if you have a data set and you arrange it from lowest value to the highest value, if odd ang number ng elements, okay, ng isang data set, malulocate mo agad yung middle number in order this. But if even siya, you have to get the mean or the average of the two middle numbers. Meron niyang kanya-kanyang formula mamaya na ma-discuss natin. Next is mode. So it refers to the number of that occurs most frequently in a list of numbers. So for example, my data set na. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As you can see, 2 and 3 is repeated. Pero kung sino yung mas maraming repetitions or mas maraming beses na na-repeat, yun yung mode ng set. So the mode here is 3. Yung value na 3. Okay? So, yun yung ibig sabihin niyan kung ilang beses nag-appear yung number na yun in a series of numbers or data set. That is mode. So, let's talk deeper about this mamaya. So, isa-isahin natin. So, let's start with mean. May dalawang klase ng mean. Yung arithmetic mean and weighted mean. So, ano yun sila? So, let's start with arithmetic. So, arithmetic mean is the total of the sum of all the values in a collection of numbers divided by the number of numbers in a collection. So, it is calculated the following way. So, arithmetic mean is equals to x sub 1 plus x sub 2 up to x sub m divided by n. So, itong x sub 1, x sub 2 up to x sub n, ito yung actual data set. So, for example, given a data set 1, 2, 3, 4. Yung x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, x sub 4, ito yung nasa taas. You simply add those up. Then itong n, kung ilang numbers ang nasa data set. So, bilangin mo. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ang n natin dyan is 4. So to get the arithmetic mean of that data set, you simply 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. You add the 4 numbers that is inside the data set. Then you divide it by the population or the number of elements, which is 4. So this is 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 3, 6 plus 4 is 10. Divided by 4, that is 2.5. Okay, so that's the arithmetic mean. So let's have another example. Compute the mean of the first 6 odd natural numbers. Now, so the first 6 odd natural numbers. Pag sinabi natin natural numbers, guys, yung countable numbers. Okay? So, yung 1, 2, 3, the numbers that you use for counting up to n. So, any number. Sabi dito yung first odd. Pag sinabi natin odd, hindi divisible by 2. So, yung first 6 terms ng natural numbers na odd is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Okay? So, you simply add those 6 terms. Okay? To get the mean or the arithmetic mean. So, that is 36. Then, yung sa bottom niya, you divide it with the population or the number of elements given. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's 36 divided by 6. So we got 6. Thus, the arithmetic mean of this problem is 6. Okay, naintindihan? Okay, now we're done with arithmetic mean. Let's go with the weighted mean. So let's have an example before we dive in. No, yung weighted mean, guys, iba siya sa arithmetic mean in the sense na in the arithmetic mean, yung mga values na binigay, walang weight, walang bigat. Sa weighted mean, may bigat. For example, yung MMW or Mathematics in the Modern World nyo na subject. Then PE. Then understanding the self. So may kanya-kanya yung units or load units. Di ba? Yung MMW is 3 units, right? Yung PE is, I think, 2. Yung understanding the self 2. Let's just assume na ito yung mga units niya. So it tells you na yung MMW is mas mabigat compared with PE and understanding the self. So instead of using arithmetic mean to get your grades, for example, may grades ka sa MMW, so maganda performance mo, tingnan natin, 94. Dito sa PE, 91. Dito sa understanding the self is 88. So instead of adding this up, then divided it by 3 to get the average. Sa weighted mean, guys, you have to multiply first it sa bigat niya or sa weight niya. Okay? Kaya may tinatawag tayo sa college na GWA or graded weighted average. So naka-weighted mean yun. So you multiply it by the number of units. Okay? So ang itsura niyan, if you get the weighted mean of MMWP and UTS, so it would look like this. So yung weight, multiply mo sa grade mo, plus yung second grade mo, 2 times 91, plus 2 times 88. Then you divide it to the number of units, total number of units. So 3 plus 2 plus 2. So 3 plus 2 plus 2. So ito yung kaibahan niya with arithmetic. Okay? Then you will get the weighted mean. In college, it is called the graded weighted average. So now, sabi dito, the formula for the weighted mean of the n numbers x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3 up to x sub n is equals to the weighted mean equals to the summation of x times w over the summation of w. So the summation of x times w over the summation of w. So yung x dyan, guys, yung x dito, ito yung kukunan ng mean sa problem. Siya yung kukunin ang value ng mean niya. Ito naman, ito yung weight or bigat ng individual numbers. Ito, units. Okay? So in this case, yung pagkuha natin ng weighted mean ng grades na ito, ang weight dito is yung units. Yung x natin dito is ito, yung grades. Ito yung kukunan natin ng weighted mean. Okay? Kukunin natin yung grade mo. Now, so where the summation of x times w is the sum of the products multiplied by each of the number by each assigned weight divided by the summation of all the weights. So let's have an example para mas maintindihan. So Alex usually, erase muna natin to para hindi madumi. So Alex usually eats lunch 7 times a week. But some weeks, no, he only gets 1, 2, or 5 lunches. Okay? So ito yung additional information. Now, on 2 weeks, may 2 weeks daw na nagtiis si Alex ng 1 lunch per week. Okay? May 14 weeks din na 2 lunches ang kinakain niya each week. may 8 weeks din sa life niya na 5 lunches. 32 weeks na 7 lunches each week. The question is, what is the mean number? Sino daw yung kukunan ng mean? The mean number of lunches. So if you remember, yung weighted mean natin na formula is the summation of x times w all over the summation of w, where w is the weight, yung x yung hahanapan ng mean. Therefore, on this problem, yung lunches, ito, 1 lunch, 2, 5, and 7, yun yung x. Yung weeks naman yung weight. So, nagsuffer si Alex ng 1 lunch per week for 2 weeks, 2 lunches for 14 weeks, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, let's solve this. We have agreed, no, based on our analysis in the previous on the problem itself. Yung W natin is the number of weeks, which is the weight. Yung X natin is yung lunches because ito yung hinahanapan natin ng mean. Then we simply multiply W and X and sum up all the weights and sum up all yung W times X. So as you can see here, ito yung mga weeks or weights. Ito yung weight, di ba? Yung W. Ito yung lunches. So 1, 2, 5, 7. So dapat nakatapat siya sa naka-assign sa kanya. So simply in-add yung W, itong weight, 56. Then we multiply 2 times 1, 14 times 2, 8 times 5, 32 times 7 to get WX. So ito yung mga results. Now, based on the weighted mean na formula, we have to get the summation of X times W or W times X over the weight, summation of weight. So, itong mga results na to, we simply add them and we got the summation of WX or X times W, which is 294. So, 294 divided by 56 is 5.25. Now, sa median, di ba yung median, if we remember sa definition kanina, ito yung paghahanap ng middle number in a set of data or data set. So, ang median formula when n is odd and when n is even, meron tayong kanya-kanyang formula. So, let's have an example. Paano ba i-identify yung odd and even na n? Sinabi nating n, if you remember sa median, yung n dyan is the population or the number of elements. So, for example, meron tayong data set. So, for example, 3, 7, 10, 12, and 14. So, if you count the number of elements on this data set, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So, 5 ang population. Therefore, yung n natin is 5. And as you can see, it's an odd number. Therefore, ang gagamitin natin na formula is this. Now, what if ang given is ito? 7, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18. Now, anong nadudula? Hindi ko maintindihan. What does it mean? Clear ba yung presentation? Hello? Yan, ganyan. Hello? Hello? How about now? Baka sa internet connection nyo yan, guys. Check nyo muna. Kasi sa iba, okay naman. Okay. Now, if even yung n, so let's count kung ano yung number of elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So therefore, yung n natin dito is 6. Okay? So meaning even. So if we substitute that here, makukuha natin yung position kung sino yung middle na or median or middle number. Okay? Same here. Substitute natin yung 5 dito. So let's have an example instead para mas maintindihan. Now, the Jameson family drove through 7 states on their summer vacation. Gasoline prices varied from state to state. What is the median of the gasoline price? So ito yung given. So bumiyahe daw sila ng 7 states no on their summer vacation. Ito yung mga prices ng gasolina on each of the state. 7. Therefore, we are getting the median, no? Sabi dito, what is the median of the gasoline price? Ang N natin is 7, obviously. Before we get the median, as you can see here, naka-disarrange siya. Dapat, naka-arrange siya from pinakamababa ang value hanggang sa pinakamataas. So, lowest value to the greatest value. Okay? So, ito na yung arrange. So, ordering the data from least to greatest, we get ito. Now, since N natin is 7, as you can see here, 7 yan lahat. Ito ang gamitin natin na formula. So, substitute lang dyan. 7 plus 1 over 2. So, that's 8 over 2 or the fourth term. So, saan ka mag-start mag-count? Doon sa pinakamababa ang value. So, first, second, third, fourth. Therefore, ito yung median. Okay? So, kumbaga, yung median na formula will give you the position of the median. Hindi yung actual na value ng median. So, it's up to you na to locate it. Basta, yung trabaho ni median is to give you the position, ikaw nang hahanap po ano talaga ang value niya. Okay? Okay. Now, let's proceed. What if ang N natin or yung population natin is even? Now, during the first marking period, Nicole's math quiz scores were 90, 92, 93, 88, 95, 97, 87, and 98. As you can see, naka-disarrange yung numbers na binigay. The question is, what is the median of the quiz score or the median quiz score? So, yun, in-arrange nyo muna. Then after that, after ordering the data from least to greatest, yeah, pwede naman ganun. April. Pero ito, may formula. Now, bilangin natin. Bilangin natin, guys, kung ilan ang N natin. So, yung population, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Therefore, yung N natin is 8. So, substitute natin siya isa-isa dito sa formula. Now, so it would look like this. So, N over 2 is 8 over 2, 8 over 2 plus 1. So, the 8 divided by 2 is 4. Same here. So, 4 pa rin. So, 4 plus 1 no, is 5. So, 4 plus 5 is 9. So, it is 4.5 or 4.5 na position. So, the problem is walang 4.5. So, this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Problema, walang 4.5. So, yung 4.5, nag-lie siya between fourth and fifth term. So, nandito sa gitna or basta in between dito. Yan yung median. Okay? Ang problema, alam natin ang position, hindi natin alam ang value kasi it's not 92 or 93. So, all you need to do is kung ano yung affected na digits, kung saan nag-lie between yung median, yung position, i-add mo siya, then you divide it by 2. Kasi you get the average or the mean. Okay, so 92 plus 93 over 2 is 185 divided by 2. That is 92.5. Therefore, ang median dito is, the value of the median is 92.5. 92.5. Okay. Now, let's proceed to the next slide. Mode. Napakadali lang ng mode, guys. Kung sino yung pinakamaraming repetition ng number, yun yung mode. So, in this data set, okay, hello? So, on this data set, guys, 63966,593. So, tingnan mo kung sino yung, or you observe kung sino yung pinakamaraming repetition of the same digit. On this case, yung 6. Siya yung na-repeat, no? Pinaka-frequent na na-repeat. Okay? So, 3 beses. 2 beses ang 3, 1 beses ang 5, 2 beses ang 9. Now, we can say that the mode for this data set is 6. Okay? Or the modal value. Modal value. Okay? Is 6. Now, let's have another example. Ito, napakarami nito, right? 3, 7, 5, 13 up to 29. So first, pag marami na siya, guys, pwede namang hindi in order. Pwede din i-rank siya or in order. Depende yan sa'yo. Pero kung ganito karami, you have to put this in order para hindi ka mahirapan. So ito nga, yung in order na list of numbers. So as you can see, yung 23 is repeated 4 times. Therefore, 23 ang mode ng set na ito. Data set. Okay? Next, let's have another example. What if more than 1 ang mode? As you can see here, naka-arrange na siya. So, si 3 at saka si 6, may frequency or repetition na 3. Ito 3 din. So, 3 appears 3 times as does 6. Therefore, yung modes natin or modal values natin is 3 and 6. So, it's possible na may dalawang modes. Okay? Okay. So, what if the given data set is wala siyang repetition of values but malapit yung spacing ng numbers or difference nila. So, you can group them. So, on this example, 4, 7, 11, 16, 20, 22, 25, 26, and 33, gumawa siya ng groups of 10. So, from 0 to 9 na value, so, di ba, if we, isa-isahin natin yan, individually, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, count natin yan number of elements. 10 yan. So, 0 to 9, then continue 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39. So, binase niya sa mga values dito kung ano yung mga limits. So, mag-start tayo with 0 up to 9. So, yung numbers lang na pasok sa 0 to 9 na group is 4 and 7. Next is yung 10 to 19. Ang pasok lang is 11 and 16. So, 2 values. Kumbaga, ito na yung frequency, guys. Okay? Or the mode. Tignan natin kung sino yung pinakamadami ang values. Okay? Na inside that group. Now, yung 20 to 29, yung 20 to 29, ito yung pasok, 4. So, 4, 2, 2, ito 1. So, yung 20 to 29 ang nandyan yung mode. Okay? But, on this data set, yung set na yan na 4 values na pasok sa 20 to 29, if we write that 20, 22, 25, and 26. So, n is 4, right? So, you divide that by 2, that is 2. To get the middle, no? The middle of the 20s group. So 2, right? So hindi si 22. So hatiin mo siya dito, then yung first value sa to the right ng hati is the middle. Yun yung mode. Okay? So that is 25. Okay? Now, depende yan sa'yo. April. Pwedeng group of 5 lang yan, 0 to 4. So pag ganito ang given, it's up to you. Yes, April. You could use a different groupings and you will get a different answer. Depende yan sa'yo. As long as you let or declare it sa taas. Groups of 10. So, yan yung magiging mode mo. So, if you have a statistical data, dapat naka-indicate siya sa taas. Okay? Okay. Kuha. Kung 0 to 4 yan, ang pasok lang is si 4. Tapos continue natin. 5 to 9. 5, 6, 7. 5 to 8, sorry. So, 5 to 8, ang pasok lang is si 7. So, impractical siya kung by 5 siya. Groups of 5. So, dapat hahanap ka ng practical. Okay? Now, let's go with the next slide. The measures of dispersion, guys, is the measurement of how close or how far yung mga numbers in a data set, no, from each other, and also how far those numbers from the mean. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng measures of dispersion. May tatlo tayo. Range, standard deviation, at saka variance. Tatlo yan. Now, range refers to the difference between the greatest value and the least data value in a given set of data values. What does it mean? You just subtract kung sino yung greatest value with the lowest value. So, for example, 4, 6, 9, 3, and 7. So, yung greatest value is 9. Ang lowest is 3. You simply subtract. Then the range is 6. That's it. Okay? So, that's the dispersion between the numbers 4, 6, 9, 3, and 7, no, with each other and also from the mean. Now, let's go with the standard deviation. So, standard deviation is a kind of measures of dispersion wherein dinidescribe niya yung amount, kung gaano kalaki ba ang dispersion or variation on the set of values, kung gaano ba kalayo sa isa't isa, and yung pag-change ng value along the data set. So a low standard deviation means it indicates that the values tends to be close to the mean or the median of the set, while a high standard deviation indicates that the values are spread out over a wider range. Okay, so this is a lowercase sigma, uppercase sigma, sigma na Greek letter. So this is the formula for standard deviation. Now, standard deviation, sigma is equals to the square root of the summation of x sub I minus mu squared over n. Okay? Sigma. Ito. Sigma notation. Now, yung sigma na lowercase is the standard deviation. Yung n naman is the size of the population. Yung x sub I naman is yung value, yung x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3 sa population. And ito, mu, ang pag-pronounce. But it is spelled out like this, mu lang. Pero pronounced as this, mu. Okay? Okay? So that's the population mean. Now, find the standard deviation of 6, 2, 3, and 1. First step is you get the mean or the mu. So simply add those 4 digits, then you divide it to the number of elements, which is 4. So 12 over 4 is equals to 3. So we got mu. Okay? So back tayo dito. Nakuha mo na to. Ang next mong kunin, ito. Okay? You subtract daw, isa-isa yung 6231 sa mean, then square, then isum mo yung, or i-add mo lahat ng results ng pag-subtract ng each of the element by the mean squared. I-add mo siya lahat. So what does it mean? Ito. So 6231, right? So find the square distance from each of the data point to the mean. Okay? So yung x sub I ito x sub I, ito x sub I. So x sub I is minus mu squared. Okay? So from this, no, naka-absolute value siya para always positive ang absolute value to. Absolute value. Or pwedeng open and close brackets. Basta naka-square siya, always positive yan. Pero ito, nanigurado siya. Absolute value ang ginamit niya. Okay? Now, we have to subtract isa-isa yung mga values na ito sa mean. Okay? Then, we will get the summation of this para ma-substitute natin dito. Okay? Now, naka-absolute value siya kasi para positive always ang result. Kasi kung magne-negative siya inside the square root, magiging indeterminate siya or imaginary na number. So if you remember, yung imaginary is I is equals to the square root of negative 1. So this number doesn't exist in the Cartesian plane. So yung first natin, yung x sub 1 natin, ito yung x sub 2, x sub 3, x sub 4. Simply subtract it sa mean, which is 3. So 6 minus 3, then raised to 2. 3 squared is 9. So 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Naka-absolute value naman siya, magiging positive siya. So 1 squared is 1. 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 squared is 0. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Naka-absolute value naman siya, or naka-enclose siya sa isang parenthesis, or 2 parentheses. So positive 2 pa rin. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So simply add the results para ma-substitute natin dito. So as you can see, in-add lang niya lahat ng pag-subtract and pag-square ng mean and yung x sub i's. So ang result is 14 divided by 4, which is the population. So kung bilangin natin to, 4 lang to. Okay, so 14 divided by 4 is 3.5. The square root of this is 1.87. And that is the standard deviation of 6231. So variance refers to the statistical measurement of the spread between numbers in a data set. More specifically, variance measures how far each number in the set is from the mean and thus every other number in the set. So as you can see, yung definition ng variance and standard deviation is the same. So yung variation is dispersions between set of values and how far is those values from the mean. So ano yung difference nila? As you can see, yung main difference nila, yung lowercase sigma sa standard deviation is hindi naka-raise to 2. While yung variance is naka-raise to 2. So the same sila ng functionality para malaman yung spread between numbers and how far is it from the mean, but different ang unit nila. Dito kasi, ang final result ng sigma is the same sa original value. So for example, yung data set mo, 1 meter, 2 meters, and 3 meters, may unit. Tama? If you get the standard deviation, using this set of values, yung result ng variance is still the same, meters pa rin. Kumbaga, yung unit ng standard deviation is the same with the original values, while yung variance naman hindi. Halimbawa, same ang data set. Okay? So if you get the variance, imbis meters ang output, magiging meter squared kasi nga naka-raise to 2. So the same sila ng purpose pero hindi sila parehas ng result. Mas malaki yung result ng variance. For example, may isang unit dyan na inches. Halimbawa, 30 inches. So you convert this to meters. Convert. I-convert mo. Para uniform lahat. Now, This is the formula for variance. So sigma squared is the variance, x sub I is the value of one observation, then mu is this, then capital N dapat yan, is the number of observations. How to convert? For example, inches. Inches to meters. Ilang inches ba ang isang meter? 1 foot is 12 inches. 12 inches. So, ang 1 meter is approximately 3.28. Di ba? 1 meter is 3.28 feet. So, sa isang foot, inches. Sige, you convert. Okay, so for example, 30 inches. So, convert mo. So, 12 inches, 1 foot, cancel, times 3.28 feet, 1 meter, cancel. So, meters na siya. So, divide mo siya sa 12, divide mo siya sa 3.28 feet. Then you got the meters. Dali lang naman mag-convert. Dapat memorize mo lang yung conversion. This is 3.281 kasi. Or 28. Pwede ganyan. Halimbawa, kilometers to miles. Okay, so ang 1 mile is equivalent to what? 1.609 kilometers. Let's have an example how to get the variance. So, get the variance or calculate the variance of the following data set: 2, 7, 3, 12, and 19. So, arrange muna natin to from highest to lowest. So, that is, from lowest to highest. 2, 3, 7, 9, and 12. So, disregard na natin to. Ito yung basehan natin. Now, let's assume na memorize nyo na yung formula for variance. So, variance is the summation of x sub I minus mu squared all over n. Tama? Okay. First, you have to get the mean. Step 1, calculate the mean or the mu. Ito. Kunin nyo muna to. So, you simply add 237 plus 9 plus 12 all over the population, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, ang n natin dito is 5. We take note of that. So, that is 33 over 5. That is 6.6. So, we got the value of the mean. Next, we have to subtract yung isa-isa, yung 2, 3, 7, 9, and 12 sa mean, then square. So, you have to get the x sub I minus mu squared. So, ito yung x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, x sub 4, x sub 5. Now, x sub 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So, that is 2, 3, 7, 9, and 12. So, kunin natin isa-isa ang x sub I minus mu. So, ang x sub I natin dito is x sub 1. So, that is 2 minus 6.6 squared. This is 3 minus 6.6 squared. This is 7 minus 6.6 squared. This is 9 minus 6.6 squared. This is 12 minus 6.6 squared. So, kunin natin to. So, that is 2 minus 6.6. That is 2.6. Tama? 2.6. So, magiging positive siya kasi naka-enclose siya dito. So, 2 minus 6.6 raised to 2, that is 21.16. 3 minus 6.6 is, tingnan natin, calculator tayo. Limutan ko na. Calculator, so that is 3 minus 6.6. That's 3.6 times raised to the power of 2. That is 12.96. And this one is 0.4. So 0.4 times 0.4 or 0.4 squared is 0.16. This one is 9. 9 minus 6.6, that is 2.4. 2.4 square is 5.76. This is 29.76. 96. 12 minus 6.6. So 5.4 squared is 29.16. Then, you get the summation of x sub I minus mu squared is equals to, so add mo tong results na ito. So this is 69.2. Okay? So, balik tayo sa formula, which is the summation of x sub I minus mu squared all over, okay, all over n, big N. So, ang variance natin is, yung summation of x sub I over minus mu is 69.2. Divided by 5. So, that is 13.84. So, this is the final answer. That's the variance. What if, sir, may follow-up question? What is the standard deviation? Do we have to go through dito? The steps na to? The same with variance? No. You to get the standard deviation, which is sigma, you just get the square root of the variance, which is the square root of 13.84. So the square root or the standard deviation, the square root of the variance is 3.72. Let's go with percentiles. So percentile is the term used in statistics to express how a score compares to other scores in the same set. Let's have an example para mas maintindihan. Ito yung formula. Oh. Percentile score of X, number of data values less than X, and the total number of data values times 100. Now, if you are the fourth tallest person in a group of 20, ikaw to. So ikaw yung fourth. So first, second, third, fourth. So what is your percentile? So sabi doon, yung percentile mo, the number of data values less than X. So ito yung ino-observe natin eh. Okay? You're the fourth tallest person. So bilangin mo yung tao na nalamangan mo in terms of height. Obviously, 20 yan, di ba? 20 katao yan. So minus 4 mo muna. Why? Para malaman mo kung ilang tao ang natira dito. Ito. Ilan yung nalamangan mo? Saan nakuha yung 80%? Mamaya, kunin natin yan. So this is 20 minus 4 is 16. So 16 katao ang nalamangan mo. So on the previous slide, yung percentile is the number of data values less than X. So ilan yung number of values less than U? So 16. So 16 divided by the total data values, which is 20 times 100. So this is lowest term natin to. Divide natin both 16 and 20 with 4 kasi yan yung pinakamalaking number na pwede ma-divide sa 16 and 20. So that is 16 divided 4 is 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So that is 4 over 5 times 100. Or simply use a calculator. Pwedeng diretso 16 times 100 divided by 20. So that is 4 over 5 is 0.8 times 100. P is 80. Therefore, you are 80th percentile, meaning 80% ang nalamangan mo in terms of height. So if 1.85 yung height mo, your height is 80th percentile height in that group. Let's go with quartiles. So quartiles is a set of data, no, are the three numbers Q1, Q2, and Q3. So it means this is quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3. So that partition, kumbaga yung quartiles is just, you're just dividing the data set into 4 equal parts. Then yung partition na yun is Q1, Q2, and Q3. Yung Q2 is the median of the set. Yung Q1 naman is the median between the data values less than Q2. And yung Q3 naman is the median data values greater than Q2. Now let's have an example. So 5, 7, 4, 4, 6, 2, 8. Okay? So you rearrange muna or arrange it in order. 2, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then, to get the quartiles, quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3, as you can see, nahati siya sa apat. Ito, at saka ito na grupo. Okay? So, how to get quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3? Mag-start tayo with the median. Alam naman natin kung kumuha ng median. Diba? So, to get the median, naka-arrange dapat yung data set. So, okay na. Then, you count the number of data points. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, ang n natin dito is 7, yung population natin, number of elements. So, yung median for this, di ba odd ito? So, that is n plus 1 over 2. So, ang median natin is 7 plus 1 over 2. This is 8 over 2. So, that is 4. Or yung fourth term. Fourth term. So, ito yung pinaka-least na number. So, count ka. This is the first, second, third, and fourth. So, we got the median or the quartile 2. Ito. Which is, ang value is 5. Okay? So, kuha siya. So, kuha mo na siya. Ito yung median. Now, as you can see, nahati siya sa dalawang grupo after getting the median into 2 equal parts. What do you mean by equal parts, sir? Meaning, pakimute. So, there are 3 members of each of the group na na-create. So, getting the number of population on this group, this side, and this side. Okay? So, may tatlo. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, equal parts na sila. So, to get quartile 1 and quartile 3, lower and upper quartile, kunin mo yung median na naman yan. So, ang n dito is 3, ang n din dito is 3. So, ano ang pagkuha ng median? So, ang n natin is odd. So, ang gamitin na naman natin is n plus 1 all over 2. Ang n natin is 3 plus 1 over 2. So, that is 4 over 2. M natin is 2. Or second. So, from here, start tayo dito. So, first, second, and third. Okay? So, yung second, ang median ng tatlong itong digit ito. Therefore, ito yung lower quartile. So, naka-note dyan. Then dito, first, second, third. So, itong second ang upper quartile. Okay? Next, let's have another example. On this case, naka-arrange na siya. So, 1, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. So, to get the quartiles, kunin mo muna yung median ng set. Yung quartile 2. So, to get the median, count the number of population or data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Therefore, yung n natin is 10, which is even. So, the formula for even na median is n over 2 plus n over 2 plus 1 all over all over 2. Yan. So, ang n natin is 10 divided by 2 plus 10 divided by 2 plus 1. All over 2. So, 10 divided by 2 is 5 plus, ito 5 pa rin to. Plus 1. All over 2. So, same lang naman sila ng sign. So, no need for distributing the sign. Okay? So, this is 5 plus 5 plus 1, that is 11 over 2. So, that is 5.5. So, as you can see, wala namang 5.5 na position. So, this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, so on. So, yung 5.5 nandito sa middle ng 5 and 6. Diba? If you remember, to get the median sa even, i-add mo sila yung affected na number kung saan yung position ng solve mo na median, which is 5.5. You add those two numbers, 5 and 6, divided by 2, and that is the value of the median. So in this case, 5.5. So nakuha na natin ang middle. So yung rank 5.5, 5.5 din yung value. So yung 5 and 6 hindi yung median. Therefore, nahati ito sa dalawang grupo, including 5 and 6. So nandito yung 5.5 sa middle. So nakuha na natin yung quartile 2. 5.5, median. Now, we count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So equal sila. So ang population ng each of the new groups is 5. So ang gamitin natin for median is n plus 1 over 2. So median natin is 5 plus 1 over 2. That is 6 over 2. Median is 3 or third term. So this is first, second, third. So ito yung lower quartile or quartile 1. This is first, second, third. And this is the upper quartile or quartile 3. Kuha? Questions? So wala. Okay, let's proceed. So after you're getting the quartiles, you plot it in a box and whisker plots. Okay. So it is a display to show the quartiles and the maximum and minimum values of data of a data set. Okay. So ito yung itsura. So ito yung number line, ito yung box, ito yung mga whiskers. So i-plot mo lang kung ano ang nakuha mong lower quartile, median, upper quartile, lower extreme, and upper extreme. Pag upper extreme, ito yung pinakamalaki ang value. Yung upper quartile, ito yung median between yung first group sa left. Yung paghati mo, pag nakuha mo na yung median. Then itong lower quartile is the median between the numbers na nagawa or na group mo after identifying the median. So from this lower quartile up to lower extreme. So that's the lower quartile. So actually itong 4 na ito is 25% ng population, dito 25, dito 25, dito 25, a total of 100. So kung same ang population nila sir, 25%, bakit mas mahaba ang dito? So same ang number of numbers na nandito or population, pero yung spacing nila from each other is much greater compared to this. Kaya may box and whisker plots para mapakita natin yung whiskers to indicate the variability or the spread of data. Now, let's have an example. So simple box whisker plot. So may test results ng 15 students. So ito 15 to lahat. So may idea ka na ang N mo is 50. Ito yung population ng data mo. Then you order this from least to greatest. So ito na. Then identify the median. Paano to kinuha? So yung median for odd, M is equals to N plus 1 over 2. M is equals to 15 plus 1 over 2. So that is 16 divided by 2. Okay. So M is 8 or ika-8 na term. So we count. So this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8. So ito yung quartile 2. Okay, na-identify mo na. Next is to identify the lower quartile. So ito yung dalawang grupong na-create after identifying the quartile 2 or the median. So this is quartile 1, this is quartile 2. So bilang ka na naman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So ang N natin is 7. So odd na naman. So median na naman na nagamitin natin na formula is ito. So median is 7 plus 1 over 2. So this is 8 over 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4 or fourth value. So first, second, third, fourth. So ito yung quartile 1. So first, second, third, fourth. This is quartile 2. Okay? So na-identify mo na siya. Next is you need to identify kung sino yung pinakamalaki at pinakamaliit na value, which is 54 and 95. After that, we can plot the box whisker plot. So itong 54, ito yung magiging lower extreme. Itong 70 is the lower quartile. Itong 80 naman is the median. Ito namang 88 is upper quartile. And yung 95 is yung upper extreme. Now, if we plot this, ito yun, oh. Nakuha na natin yan lahat. Dapat 5. So, ito yung lower extreme, which is 54. Ito naman yung whisker, ito. So, mas malaki ang spacing ng mga digits dyan compared here. Ito yung second whisker. Now, this point is the quartile 1, which is the lower quartile. Okay, which is, ang value niya is 70. While this one is the median. No? Ang value niya is 80, median. This is quartile 2. This one naman is quartile 3, which is the upper quartile. So, this is equal to 88. Then, this one is the upper extreme equal to 95. Okay? So, ganun lang. Okay? That ends our week